After introducing new graphics rendering and game physics, the developers modified 10 old maps and also made a promise to modify the rest soon. And it wasn't long until we got the 8.1 patch. In this patch, 4 other maps were reworked: Province, El Hiluf, Dragon Ridge, and Abbey. Now let's take a closer look at these changes. Dragon Ridge map, which was excluded from the battle map list before, is finally back in the game. You'll easily notice that there is now an entire new and fresh section at lines 8 and 9. Where you remember a bottomless abyss, there is now kind of a chasm with some huts. You can move down here by following the paths near the bases, and you can meet here both medium and heavy tanks. This new position decreases the battle intensity in the village in the map's center. As for the rest, there were minor changes in Dragon Ridge. What really changed the gameplay in this map is new physics. Now you can go down the terraces of rice fields, and this gives you a wonderful possibility to accelerate. Apart from the changing map structure, its appearance has also been changed. All the elements, the lighting, the landscape, and the huts now look oriental. Dragon Ridge map is now much more detailed, and we've done that for you to enjoy the game experience. Now let's move to another modified map, Province. This one has a whole lot of visual changes. Its hills are now bright and prominent due to their deep colors. The surface is now covered in grass, so instead of the messy, tawny mud, you see lovely grass meadows. These cosmetic changes are plenty, and they've made our sunny province look a lot better. This modified map can provide good cover for your tank. As you can see, there are lots of small hollows and bumps now. So instead of plain surface, you have a very realistic landscape, which may be tricky to drive through, but on the positive side, you can cover your weak points easily. Instead of smooth hillside of the lake area, there is now uneven rocky terrain, and in the opposite corner, there is a hill which can be used as a cover. There are not any other significant changes though, and that means that this map is still your good oldie, but a great deal better. Now let's move to the hot and desolate desert, El Hiluf. You can see at a glance that the terrain has dramatically changed. The downhill path to the flat land between the bases is now steep and bumpy. Near the northern base, there is now a transitional position from where you can apply fires effectively. The serpentine also has changes. Instead of moving slowly along the path, you can go straight down in double quick time. But be careful, as there are a lot of bumps willing to deprive you of your tracks. From that serpentine, you can reach the lagoon easily and safely. It has also been changed and made deeper. So if you lose your tracks while underwater, you may well be drowned. You may remember that steep hill near the northern base. Now it has become smoother and you can drive down that path safely. We can but comment on the dried riverbed. It has become deeper and covered with greenery, so you can easily hide from sight while moving there. The habitual place of tanks colliding in the northwest corner of the map has also been changed. The vehicles can't stand idle there anymore. Those who defend the mountain won't be able to hide from artillery, and those who attack, on the other hand, will have a perfect cover. Speaking of modified graphics, now the landscape is gray. There is no more bright sunlight in El Hiluf. We've mentioned the most important changes. The terrain has become more complicated. Every hill, bump, and hollow have changed. There are practically no plain sections. This means that the battle tactics on the map must be significantly changed too. The last map to be covered by this review is Abbey, and we should mention that its terrain has seen more changes than any other maps. This patch has brought some new opportunities to the players, but one thing after another. Immediately after you load the Abbey map, you will notice the modified terrain. Now what we see is mostly hills, bumps, and hollows. The path leading from the southern base to the hilly area in the west has been upgraded with greenery and big stones. The ledge has been made larger, but it's harder to fire at the attacking tanks as a half of the level plain is now covered. If you want to go directly down the hill, think twice before actually doing this. Underneath, there's a deep lake, and this means you'll most likely get drowned. If you move further through this area, you will notice that due to the larger cliffs, the whole path is safer. The spots at the second ledge are thoroughly covered with greenery, and this means the enemy won't spot you moving there. There is another path that allows one to move from the upper part to the lower part of the area quickly. The spot near the upper base is covered by cliffs from both sides, so half of the base is covered with rocks and cannot be shot at. Let's move to the long narrow path. Notice that instead of a bottomless pit, you now see a river. If two heavy tanks collide, you can now outflank your enemy along shallow waters or get out using the long narrow path. This was a single route road before, but now this path is full of possible tactics. The abbey itself and its central area stayed more or less the same. There are other new paths and passages between the houses, but these are insignificant compared to the other changes. In general, the abbey map is quite different from what it was before, and we hope that you will like it. So the developers have modified 4 other maps for us, and these changes are really large scale. The next patch will bring us another 4 maps, and now let's enjoy new terrains and new game physics playing on these maps. Good luck to you on the field!